Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to another day of Woodgrain and Winter, which I'm combining with Stretch the Sketch. Today's sketch is a single page 12 by 12, and it is from Dusty Attic from Jen Bridger, I believe is what that said. I apologize for my voice. I'm sick again and trying to still complete my layouts and my voicing of videos, so bear with me. I'm going to do the best I can. I have 8 photos of Christmas morning 1975, I believe. So yeah, I was about 2 years old. And these are just the morning of photos. So I've got like me on my mom's lap. I have apparently I got a tricycle that year and a doll bed. And then there's pictures of my brother opening some presents as well. I don't even think there's any of my dad. He might have been the one taking the photos. Anyway, I'm starting out with my wood grain. And I really like the depth of color in this dark wood grain. It brings out the darker tones. I did try a more yellowy mustard color that is actually from the Foundations part of the Christmas Spectacular collection from 49 and Market, but it was too yellow next to the photos because it made all of the yellow in the photos pop out, because these photos are old. They kind of have a yellowy green hue to them. And as I've been mentioning, these vintage photos that I have a texture on them and they don't scan very well. So in order to adjust the color on them, I'm going to have to figure out a way to either scan or photograph them. But the texture on them picks up the light from the scanner and any glare that is in the room, any light in the room. So they just don't work great for that. I'm still working on finding a solution. We'll see if that happens. I don't know. Might not happen this year. So I'm just doing the best I can. I'm trying not to stick anything directly to the photos and make sure that the photos are matted on some acid-free paper and all of that good stuff. Now I'm sure what I am doing with them is going to be less damaging than where they came from. The album that they were in was definitely not a photo safe album, but we're going to just go with it and see what we can do here. The other thing is, I photograph all of my layouts, and so I will at least have that copy, even though the image may not be the best because of that texture on the photos. Anyway, I am trimming down that wood grain paper. I do want to make sure that some of it shows, but I don't want as much of it. I don't want it to be really heavily dark. And now I'm going to start adding the other colors. I am going to go with this stripe, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't cover up a lot of the wood grain around the photos. That was really the only one piece, or the only paper that I had 2 sheets of. Everything else is just single sheets. So I'm going to use strips of paper and smaller pieces and tuck them in and make it look like it's spanning both. In the sketch, there are quite a few layers of paper, and that's kind of what I'm going with in this particular layout. I was going to have my photos ranged a little bit differently, but because I have an even number of photos, the grid kind of worked out the best, and so I decided just to go ahead and stick with the grid. I'm using the back side of the striped paper here to tuck in another layer. This has a bit of foliage on it and Christmas trees and such, so I'm going to tuck that in. I really like how that's looking. I'm using my T-square ruler to align everything to make it look like it goes straight across, and it is like a full sheet. And I am still wearing my wrist brace. I think maybe on Friday's layout at the end I didn't have it on, just because I film at different times. Like this layout was actually filmed before that portion of that layout. My wrist is doing much better. I'm still wearing it when I'm doing anything super active like work and lifting and all that kind of stuff, but I'm out of it for the most part when I am not doing that kind of stuff. So in case you wanted to know. So I have got the green paper here. I was very intentional on placing that green paper where some of the white is showing. I want it to have the mixed media portion of the paper showing. If I had tucked it in the opposite direction, it was mostly all green, and I really liked the variation in it. So I went ahead and tucked it in purposefully so that the white sections are at the top. I came across this card that says Christmas. I think it says 1929 or something like that on it. I'm going to go ahead and use that. I don't know that the 29 is going to show. We'll see. I'm also going to tuck in some of this red paper on each end of the brown, or on top of the brown, so that it looks like it is a layer on top. And I'm just going to keep building up these layers, much like the sketch has. Now there is a taller section on the sketch on the right hand, kind of right at the center, to the right of the center, and I am going to build that little portion right now. Mine is not going to be right at the center of my layout. It's going to be a little bit more right justified, but I'm going to build that more of a column look into this layout. So I am taking things from the sketch, even though it's not exactly like the sketch, and that is the whole purpose behind the sketch, is to, provide you a jumping off point or give you some ideas of where to start. What you do with it beyond that is totally up to you. If you are someone who likes to follow it 100%, you go ahead and do that. I do that on occasion as well. But if it doesn't work for your photos, you do what you can and what you want with it, and it'll look just great either way. My apologies for clearing my throat, you guys. I'm still getting over a cold. Well, I don't know if I'm getting over it, but hopefully I'm getting over it. So I apologize for that. So the idea behind Stretch the Sketch is that we use a 12 by 12 sketch, and then we create a layout in a different size or format. You can be smaller or larger, all the way down to a card or a traveler's notebook if that's something that you like to work in, or you can go larger, span it into multiple pages if you want. But we don't make whatever we're creating in the same size as the sketch. So since that's a 12 by 12 sketch, I'm going larger. I do tend to go larger. I have done smaller, but I do tend to go larger because I really like to do double pages when I have enough photos for it. So I think it always looks nice that way. So this piece that says Countdown to Christmas Merry, I decided to stretch that piece. I think it was about maybe 8 or 8.5 inches long. I just cut it in half, and I'm stretching it across my layout. I'm trying to align it across horizontally as well, so it doesn't look like it's lopsided on the page. It's a little bit off currently, so I'm going to be measuring that. That's actually what I'm measuring right now, to make sure they're about the equal distance from the bottom of the page, so that it looks like it's nice and level and not tilted. And then I am going to place some of the poinsettias and trees in those areas. So it is going to cover some of it, but it's not going to cover all of it. I really just loved that piece. I knew I wanted to use it somewhere in my layouts this season, but I just didn't know where, and this happened to be the one. So I'm going with that. I am inking everything up in some Black Soot Distress ink. I am going to bring some black into each one of these little areas. So I'm using a label up at the top there. And then I do have some candy canes from Some Assemblage Required. You can see them underneath the thumbnail of the sketch up there. I'm going to use some of those as well. I think they're so cute, adorable, and I really love them. So they're going to make it onto this page as well. I thought they were perfect to add just a tiny bit of whimsy. These are childhood photographs, and so I think that's totally fitting and adds a little bit of fun to the layout. So I've decided I'm going to make a little bit of a banner or a bunting with these. These candy canes are meant to be a bunting, so I'm just trying to figure out where to put them. They're going to hang down here under this piece that says Mary on it. and the black string is going to be the black that I bring in to this lower left-hand corner. I'm just playing with how they sit and where to put them, and then trying to decide if I'm going to use the wood veneer. There's a little wood veneer sign that says Candy Cane Lane. I decide not to use that because I'm not bringing in wood veneer to any of the other areas. I've got my wood grain already spoken for by using the wood grain paper that the photos are sitting on. And yes, I could add more wood grain if I wanted. It's not like I'm limited, but I just decided I didn't want to add in another texture. I just wanted to let these candy canes be the star. So I am stringing them up first, and then I'm going to add some glue behind them to make them stick. And I actually don't put any glue on the string, which is a little bit unusual for me. I let the string just kind of hang and do its own little thing there. And I really like the softness that it adds to that bottom left-hand corner. So I'm just using a little liquid glue, some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, kind of waiting for the candy cane next to the one that I'm working on to set up a little bit or put a little pressure on it so I don't accidentally pop that one off of the page while I'm putting glue on the next one. And I'm using my acrylic block to kind of hold everything down while I go ahead and do that, because I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to lift up the ones I've already glued and have to restick them and get glue all over the layout. So I'm just using it as a third hand rather than being patient and waiting for them to actually dry. Now this piece on the right hand side, it is a double candy cane crisscross. I'm going to use that as well. It's going to be tucked in a little bit. It is a little bit larger than the other candy canes, and I think that's totally okay. Just tucking it into my cluster, and then I'm going to have to add some black over there. I will find a black embellishment to add to that section. I really liked this little hanging tag, so I'm going to hang this off of these candy canes, and I believe it says Mary on it. I thought it was super cute and just added another little point of interest, and so I'm popping that up onto some foam to give it a little bit of extra support, and it is actually hanging around the candy canes, and I think it's just adorable. Now I found this little black piece that says ho ho ho, so I'm going to tuck that in, and so just a tiny pop of black in each one of those clusters is going to do the trick. And then I did add a plaid little heart up in the top here where I'm working, and I really like how that looks. It brought a little bit of more red up here since my other clusters have are red heavy, so I'm thinking that looks really cute too. I did toy with putting a little knot in the end of my string here, and I was going to trim it off, but then I decided I kind of just liked it sitting loose and left it like that. I am going to tuck this one side string into the little film strip edge where it says Mary, mostly because when I slide it into a page protector, I don't want it to get caught and pull everything off. So I'm just adding a few more sprigs of berries and another piece of holly up here to kind of heighten the cluster on the left hand side. And that is it, you guys. There is a playlist down below for everyone playing along with Woodgrain Winter, so you can go and check out all of the videos that have been released to date. And then there is also a list of links for everyone playing along with Stretch the Sketch, so you can go and check out everybody there as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and if you enjoyed this video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you're not already subscribed, I would love for you to subscribe as well. I'll see you guys again real soon with another video. Bye-bye.